day.
Yep, I'll sit in here as well.
Heck yeah. Here we go. It's beautiful.
I'm going to hit start.
So what's playing now?
Oh, you know what it is? It's the headphones.
Yeah, the headphones are all playing up. So Saturday, we're going to be what? Let's see here.
Turn it down.
Is that the
You're still or
17th?
not?
Yes.
Oh, here. See that little pot down there? Turn that down. See this little thing right here? Turn that down. Oh, wait. There you go. That's what you're hearing.
We don't need you people at the moment.
Okay.
Good to see everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's wild and wacky and crazy in the WFM Day studio.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Hey, folks, welcome back to your Frederick Real Estate Update. I am Darren Ahern with RE/MAX Results, bringing you now almost, Terry, it's going to be 24 years experience and craziness in real estate. And this is your weekly dose of real estate and mortgage updates as well. And I have the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with all the money over in the vault at Presidential Bank Mortgage, Mr.
Terry Kernan.
How we doing, buddy?
Doing great. Great.
Say goodbye to July. Can you believe it?
Yeah, we're halfway through, so pretty amazing.
It is Saturday, 17th now, right? I think we got it. Today's 17th, right? 17th of June, something like that.
17th.
17th. Here we go.
It's the 18th.
18th. We're losing our dates. We're trying to have the summer hold on as long as possible. That was just a little fun test. So, hey, thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you go in the WFMD.com in the drop-down menu. You'll get Terry's and I's past many hundreds and hundreds of programs. But the last programs have been especially really good. And Terry, because we've been talking about the latest and greatest updates, hot news within the market and trends and what's happening. Some of it sounds a little bit like a broken record, but then again, we've got some movement. We got some numbers to share and all that good stuff. So we're going to jump right on into it. The one thing, Terry, with inventory is it's been flat. As far as the numbers, we're not going to take the time to go through every little number in detail. We did that before. I'll do that in the next week or two to catch everybody up a little bit. But the bottom line is we have 692 homes for sale today. And in the last few weeks, we've been at 701, 690. I don't know if I can ever recall 3 to 4 weeks, almost an entire month, where inventory has been flat. Whatever's coming into the market, the same amount is getting sold. So now we look at, are there less sellers putting their home into the market because we're getting towards the back end of the summer, believe it or not, or are we just seeing buyer demand tick up and they're eating up all those homes right off the market pretty quickly? Whatever it is, whatever's happening with some of those dynamics, the bottom line is inventory is staying really flat, which is not a really bad thing at all. So what are your thoughts?
So my thoughts are that the demand that I've seen since probably the third week in January has dropped. Okay.
Yeah.
What triggered it? Number one, summer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as soon as we hit July, we saw the demand, get, lower a little bit. Still seeing the demand lower. But also what we're seeing is the rates are going up.
Yeah.
Okay. So the rates are back up to 6.75. They're teetering at 6.625, but they keep going up. Why are they going up? Okay. Let's talk about that. Why are the rates going up? Usually when the demand for something goes up, the cost goes up. So in this case, demand is going down. So why would rates be going in the opposite direction of demand, or in the opposite direction of demand? And here's basically what we're taking a look at. We're taking a look at the war that's still going on. We're taking a look at the threats from Iran that they're going to start blowing up, everybody's oil fields around them. You think the cost of, $80 a barrel right now?
Whew, that's cheap.
That's cheap compared to what would happen if Iran goes through with their threats. President Trump said if they don't come to the table and start working out a deal, then he's going to start blowing up their infrastructure. They said, oh, that's fine. We'll start blowing up everything around. So that rattled the bond market this week. Let's talk about what was good about this week.
There is some good.
Oil has come down.
Yep.
Gas has come down. So the consumer price index came out on Wednesday. Basically, they were expecting it to drop by 1%. It actually by 0.1%. It actually dropped by 0.4%. That's great news. So inflation came back down. PPI comes out on Thursday. They're expecting no change at all, and it actually dropped 0.3%. So those two things right there helped control the bond market.
Right.
But as we saw all week, is it only helped overcome what was going on in the bond market. There's also some kind of like family infighting. I feel the pressure is coming on with the rates because there are the Fed governors
Right.
that are looking to raise rates, and they're coming out and actually saying it. Kevin Warsh has a handful because he's dealing with the administration on his right and he's dealing with the governors on his left, both pulling at him from both directions. I think that when they meet in a couple of weeks, I think they just have to keep these rates steady.
Yep.
You know, even though rates are going up, even though we're seeing rates go up, we are still thinking that once that this war gets resolved, and not to take it lightly, like I said last week, but once things are figured out, rates will come back down.
Yeah.
Now, when's that going to happen? It doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be a while.
I think it's going to be a while. So I think that number of 700 that we're seeing as demand, I think that number could go up, or listings. I think that number, Darren, could go up, you know, in the next month or so, because, you know, people don't want to buy in July. People don't want to go out. And I think that number, now that the rates are going up, I think demand is going to get less and less.
I do too.
Demand's going to go down. So there's a lot going on. Bottom line is that even though inflation came under control, we saw rates go up. Okay?
Right.
So that's a sign that the war is holding a lot more on the rates hostage than anything else. Now, one thing I'm going to mention that is also concerning to me is people that borrow on margin. Let's talk about the stock market just for a second. People that borrow on margin, that number has surged by 42%. That number has not been this high. The last time it was this high was in 2020, 2008. All the times that we saw the stock market take a huge correction, that's when we saw a huge surge in people borrowing on their stocks to buy more stocks, borrowing on their margin. So that number is very, very concerning. So I'm afraid that we are in for an adjustment coming up on the stocks. What happens if that adjustment takes place? Usually what would happen is people would take their money out of the stocks, put it into the bonds, the safe haven, and rates would come down. I'm afraid that people are going to put it into cash, and our rates will go up if the stock market has a major correction, which is usually not the case. So I hope I didn't confuse anybody out there, but that's kind of what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm feeling. Not the best news in the world.
Yeah, but it's not the worst.
But it's not the worst.
Exactly. And that's
but
the thing.
Be careful with the stock market, because I'm starting to feel like we might be having a correction here.
Yep. And we're due for it, you know, with those kind of dynamics and the numbers that we've been sharing and the trends and everything like that and what's happening like that. So, but as far as interest rates, like you said, it's been weird. They've been at 6.5, and then we go to 6 3/4 now. And little by little, as we see on Mortgage News Daily, they've been trickling back down again like that. And so it's just going to take longer. That's the bottom line. But the two things, the dynamics with interest rates, Terry, that I'm seeing right now. Number one, I've had a lot of listings, been putting a lot of homes on the market for sale. I got 2 open houses this week, one today, up on Jefferson Boulevard, beautiful rancher, and it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Come and check it out. Give me a call. I'll get you where that's at. And then we also tomorrow have one in Lake Ligonor in Aspen, beautiful house on Pica Court 10014. It's a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath, premium lot, lake access to Lake Ligonor. It's beautiful. Beach access, all of it, for a cool $755,000. So here's the thing I'm seeing real quick. Inventory has been flat, but the interest rates have been flat too. But it's not, there hasn't been enough volatility to cause a lot of buyers to go, oh, I'm on the sidelines. I'm actually the busiest I've been all year long because of the delay. And so interest rates coming down more and more is definitely going to spark more buyers to get involved in the game. We do know there's a pent-up demand of that. But at the same time, I've had sellers, they say, hey, we hear the market, it's, you know, prices are down. No. Prices in our area. If you look at national and the core metrics of June 2026, median list price of the homes, $430,000. Ours were 22%, Terry, higher. We are at $530,000. than the rest of the United States. But if you look at this kind of news, year over year, list price dipped for the 8th straight month. You know, we've had in the last 8 months, Terry, in Frederick County, we're up now 2.9%. So we do not follow the United States trend at all. We're actually doing really good. So when I read these kind of articles and information, I think it's really good to see and what's happening. And then we get it down to the northeast metro areas, and they have things on that we're going to look at for a minute. And then we get into what's happening in Maryland and then Frederick County. So, but as far as active listings are concerned, we're totally flat here. The United States, it's going up. Previous month up 4.1% since then. Across the United States, we're at 1.1 to 1.15 million listings, depending on what you look at, whether it's like Redfin or Zillow or Realtor.com and CoreLogic. There's about 5 or 6 sites that I can tune you in on. But the bottom line is it's been growing little by little by little. So interest rates have gone up and prices have come down, but we don't follow a lot of those things. And this is why I tell people it's extremely important that you let me come and give you the best data, which is local right here, and to not follow the trends. So the bottom line is year over year, month over month, we're really experiencing things that actually are pretty positive in our area. Give you a good example. Sellers that say, hey, we hear it's the buyers are cooling off. Prices are, it doesn't sound like it's good. And I say, time out a minute. Tale of two cities, tale of two listings. I've got a couple listings. We're having a heck of a time. We've had 10, 15 showings, no offers. That becomes a price valuation kind of a thing. And then as I shared last week or so, a week and a half ago, put a nice townhouse on the market here in Ballinger Creek. Terry, in 5 days, guess how many showings we had?
5 days, 17.
34 showings.
Whoa.
So don't you dare tell me there's no buyers out there. And this is in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range. We put it at 370, 34 showings. Guess how many offers, highest and best? Guess how many offers came in?
4.
7. You're
7.
close. 7 offers. We had 7 people in the front yard having a fist fight. 6 were going to lose.
So
one of them was going to win.
I mean, I know the reason, but how was the condition of the property?
Perfect. Kept up. Very nice.
Price obviously was very competitive.
Oh, yeah. We were not giving it away by any means, but a little bit competitive on paper, just about 2 to 3% than the last ones that we're selling. The seller was savvy and smart. He knew I want a fist fight. I want multiple offers because, Terry, what happens? Price goes sky high. 3 out of 7 offers, they threw out the home inspection. 2 of them threw out the appraisal and the financing contingency and everything. They basically said, just give us the HOA docs, let us review them for 5 days, give us the keys in 2 weeks, we're done. Guess what that price came out to be? Can't tell you because it's still pending, but I can tell you this, it's way up above $370,000. The only thing I can share, it's close to $400,000. You think my seller is upset?
Not at all.
No,
is this a flip situation?
No.
Or did they renovate it prior to? Or
no.
You said it was perfect condition.
Yeah. No major renovations. I'll tell you what they did. They followed my instructions. Did a little bit of paint. Did a little bit of flooring. Made it nice and clean. Perfect. In-unit townhouse. Beautiful premium lot view. So here's the thing that gets granular, guys. You can't be comping an in-unit townhouse to an interior. In-units, $10,000 higher. The last in-unit in Mountain Village in this area, in Ballinger Creek, in that community that had sold was over 7 or 8 months ago. So it's simple. I look at the data, square feet, age of it. We do the adjustments. You do the time adjustment. The market's up about 1.5%, 2%. You can bump on it. And all of a sudden on paper, it looked like this price. This is about the top you can almost get on paper. But he said, what do we have to do so I don't overprice it, so I'm not chasing the market down, so I'm not getting low ball offers, so I'm not getting this buyer that's asking for every little thing, starting with closing cost help, home inspection, appraisal, my dog, and pizza for a free year. We weren't going there. He didn't want to go there. Some sellers do. They want that pain. They want to chase the market down and they get less later. But this was a very savvy seller when he looked at my 3 paths to sold sign in front yard. He realized, wow, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to choose the path that causes fistfights and I get the best results. And he did. He's loving life. So
That's great.
that's the tale of a couple properties. You know, when people say, how's the market? Terry, I've said it before. For buyers and sellers, I've shared. It all depends on which strategy you want to use will dictate if it's a good market for you, it's an okay market for you, or it stinks and it sucks and it's painful. You get to choose the buyer and seller. You get to choose. I don't care what's happening in the overall market or in the whole country or this or that. We can create a lot of good path and plans based on the information and trends and things like that and my knowledge and expertise. So I helped him buy the property 5 years ago and he said, man, Darren, you know, great job. Thank you so much. This is amazing. Couldn't have done it without you. That's the highest compliment I can ever get.
That's great.
So
congratulations.
yeah, so those are the things we're fighting with. And now I got 3 more listings into the market and we'll see. We've picked the plans. We're going to see what happens this weekend. The cat is out of the bag. All right, Terry. So one of the big things I wanted to look at too on this report here was some of the trends. Okay. All right. This is always fun here. Days on market, steady. Around the country this month, 53 days on the market. Sounds like a lot. Not really. It's nothing catastrophic. But guess how many for Frederick County right now?
38.
You're there, 39. That's
39,
it.
okay.
As of this morning,
That was a good
39.
guess. All right.
So again, Frederick County is doing better than the average parts of most in the country. Why is that? We're in a very desirable area.
What about Washington County? Have you looked at those numbers lately?
I have not in the last month or so, but I can do that. We fall behind in values about 8 to 15%, depending on where in Washington County. You start getting out to Western Maryland, you get out like Hancock, right on the PA line and all that. Those values, you can get a deal. You can be 15, 20% less, same house, same lot, same everything. You can pick up about 15 to 20% less than here in Frederick County alone. So
yeah. So 40 years of doing this. My 40-year anniversary was July 1st.
congratulations.
But I also wanted to so over those 40 years, I've worked in Washington County, I've worked in PA, I've worked in Frederick County, obviously, Montgomery County. And it seems to me, and maybe this is psychological, but it seems that when we have a bump in gas prices, the demand seems to dwindle.
Oh yeah.
The farther out you go. Like each county, it's going to get, the demand is a little less because I believe that people are thinking, wow, gas is at $4 a gallon. You know, the extra 25 miles to go to Clear Spring or whatever the case may be.
Oh yeah.
That's going to cost me, wow, that's 50 miles a day times 5, 250 miles a week. You know, that's an extra. So people, I think, factor that in.
Yeah, they're saying, hey, it's
When
$100 a month
prices-
more in gas for me,
Yeah.
or more.
Yeah, when gas prices are on the rise. Now, when gas prices are low and competitive, I think that goes out the window.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my own personal.
Yeah, that's
Like
absolutely it.
When gas was $2.60 just 6 months ago, I don't think people were saying, "Oh, wow, you know, this is going to cost me an extra, you know, $100 or $200 a month." So that's why I was wondering if you had the Washington County numbers, but
Yeah.
no worries. No
Yeah,
worries.
I'll keep working on
Just
more
a
of
thought.
that, but that's good stuff. So following with this summary table, check this out, Terry. So we know the average price around the country, $430,000. In Frederick County, we're up to $525,000 or so. If you're a brand new build, you're over 800 now, officially, unofficially. Well, I don't think we're ever going below 800 on a brand new build. But this is the big metric I think it's interesting. The share of active listings with price reductions. This last month around the country, 18.8, so almost 19% of all sellers had to reduce their price to get an offer. So where are we at here? We're pretty much in the same line of that.
So we're about
20. We were as high as 40% in the worst of worst back in 2023 and 4. The sellers just didn't get it. Things are changing. We're not going up 10% a year. We're flat. We're down a little. We're down a hair. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, let's try it. Let's just be out here. Let's try it. Let's try it. And a lot of agents were desperate for business and still are right now. And they're going to tell sellers not what they need to hear, but what they
want to hear.
What they want to hear. They want to be liked. They want to be loved. They want to have hugs.
Welcome to sales, baby.
That's it,
Welcome
baby.
to sales.
Come on.
What do you want to hear?
Rather than tell the truth and say, hey, I'd rather see the market disappoint you now than 3 months when you're mad, you're chasing the market down, and now you're going to get less money later. And guess who's to blame? At the end of the day, really, it's the agent for not being truthful and honest. And by the way, ethics says we are not allowed to mislead the public, right? So if you don't have empirical data to back it up, stop lying about things. Go ahead, Terry. What's your question?
So, not a question, but a comment.
Yeah.
Because that 18%. So I had a manager's call with all the managers in presidential, 17 of us on the call. And Michael Carr, our boss, great leader, he basically said, and pretty much everybody's from around the country. So presidential in the last 3 years with, the guidance of Michael, we've gone from being a mid-Atlantic presence to being a nationwide presence.
Yeah.
We've tripled our size. Things are going great. But Michael said, what are we seeing across the country? And I was able to throw out actual numbers about, he wanted to know about listings, but he wanted to know what percentage do you think in your market is a reduction in the list price? And a lot of people said about 1 in 4. Everybody kind of said 1 in 4. And I was kind of like, yeah, that's about right for our area.
Yeah.
But to find out that it's 18% across the country, it's a lot less than I thought it would be. Bottom line.
It's come down.
Bottom line.
It has come down a lot in the last, say, 6 months, even because sellers have woke up to reality. They've watched what happened to their neighbor, and they were like, "Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to miss the market. Oh no!" And they know that the buyer demand is not even normal. We're going to end at 4.1 or 4.2 million sales. Well, these are the kind of numbers we had 15 years ago, and the population's 20% higher today. So when the old adjusted for inflation numbers, adjusted for population growth numbers, adjusted for this, adjusted for that, when you factor those things in, it is a whole different ballgame. So the big thing with active listings, Terry, like I said, in the United States, it's up 1.9%. We're up about the same. We follow suit. Northeast, I love it with regional prices. Our regional, the average in the United States, 430. Northeast, the West is the highest at 600,000. But the Northeast, 554,000 is the Northeast region, which we fall just into, which is really amazing. Versus pre-pandemic, we are up 50% than 2019. Let that sink in.
Well,
Still.
That's why nobody can buy a house.
That's the unaffordability number right there. Time on the market in the United States, we said 53 days. In the Northeast, it's 42. And in Frederick, we're at 39. So we are actually beating the Northeast regional numbers. We are probably one of the lowest in the country. So those are some of those numbers there, Terry. Fun thing I want to get into, the market report. It just came hot off the press. Keeping current matters of July. This is stuff that just came off. This is great, Terry. Check this out. Nationwide, 5.8% of all U.S. home listings were taken off the market in April. That's tied with December 2025 for the highest share since March of 2020. When on the onset of the pandemic the housing market had to halt and spooked sellers prior to 2020, delistings were never as common as they are today. Here's a fun chart. Some sellers are choosing to wait. This says the share of homes for sale that were delisted by metro area. Guess what part of the country had the highest amount of homes taken off the market because they just weren't selling? The number was 11%. That means out of every 100 homes listed, 11 of them, they're so mad, they're not even making price reduction. They are the rage delisting sellers. They're so mad at the market they can't see straight.
Or what state?
What city? It's a major metropolitan city in the southeast of the United States that had the highest amount of homes taken off the market, delisted.
Either Miami
Almost.
or Tampa.
You're close, but I'm going to give you a hint, and you better get this right. My favorite football team in the NFL lives there.
Jacksonville.
No, I don't like the Jaguars, brother. That's not of God, brother.
Atlanta.
That's not Atlanta, Georgia. The Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta, Georgia was 11%.
Really?
Now, tale of two cities. Guess what city had the least amount of homes delisted in the whole country? I'm from this city. This is my hometown. Pittsburgh, PA.
Wow.
Those sellers up there get it. Those Steel City sellers, we call them, those sellers know exactly how to price their homes. They're not playing games. They don't have to worry about getting raised and delisted. Their number, 5.3% lowest. But now let's get into our area. Guess what Washington, D.C. was?
I'd guess about 9%.
6. We were at
Okay.
6%.
Okay.
And guess what Baltimore was?
Baltimore's probably going to be higher, about 11%.
No, they would have been the highest with Atlanta. Actually,
Oh,
they're
really? Okay.
6.2%. Yeah. Baltimore was 6.2. Washington, D.C., 6. So basically, 6 out of 100 homes is all that's getting taken off the
What's
market.
New York City?
New York City, I got to look at this. We got 3 minutes left. Let me find that. Let me find that. New York, New York. Here it is. It's on this list right here. 6.4.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
high-end areas up in Long Island and New York City and Manhattan. But I love these charts. These are always fun to play with. So the big why. The 3 forces reshaping today's real estate market: recent inventory growth, shifting prices, and longer days on the market. Inventory has been rising for 4 straight years, boys and girls. There it is right there. But where are we at when you go backwards in time? I'll tell you where we're at. Right in January of 2020, just when we started to learn about the word COVID. What is that? By March, it was crazy, remember? But we've seen inventory just going up and up. But here's the thing that's amazing, Terry. It's not even close to the levels that we saw over like back in 2017. So we've been doing pretty good.
Okay.
In many parts of the country, listings have piled up as more homeowners are just trying to sell their home, and the activity slows down a little bit. We're not seeing it too much. 80% of sellers think, oh, this is my favorite. We're getting the program on this. 2 minutes. Check this out, Terry. What percentage of sellers think they're going to get their asking price or more? Not just their price. They're going to have a fist fight in the front yard. How many?
80%.
You're there. 80% of sellers think it. That was it. I'm sorry. I told the answer. But here's the thing. I'll get more than my asking price. 37% said, yeah, I'm entitled.
Okay.
I'm getting more than my asking price. I'm playing that strategy, fist fight in the front yard. I'm going to be a little aggressive. Ain't giving it away, but we're a little aggressive. How many percent says I'm going to get my asking price? I'm bullseye. I got this.
50%.
Yeah, 46.6 says it. So when you add those two together, it's big. How many sellers say, I'm going to get less than my asking price? I'm being honest. I'm going to get less.
10%.
Yeah, 11.9. 12% of sellers say, I know I'm going to get less,
Okay.
but I'm just testing, playing the market. And how many sellers say, I have no idea what in the world the market's going to do?
I'd say about 5 to 7%.
4.7% of all sellers.
That's
But the
pretty close.
bottom line, yeah, you're good at this
Hey,
game.
before we run out of time,
Yeah, go ahead.
I got to give a shout out to my granddaughter, Kayla. It's her birthday today.
Kayla, happy birthday.
5 years old. She's
5.
awesome, and she's my oldest grandchild, and I now have 3 because she has a little sister named Shannon that's a month old. So
There you go. Take lots of presents. Gonna have fun today. Hey, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning to your Frederick Real Estate Update, where Tara and I are bringing the latest and greatest for buying and selling. Have a great weekend. Stay cool out there, and we'll see you next time. Take care now.
Done and done.
All right. Thank you, guys. Take care.